I've been trying to make this video for a long time now, and I've just been facing like difficulties here and there. But I feel like now it's cool. So yeah, so this is a manual from Access 4X. So yesterday actually I asked you guys what video you guys wanted me to look at, to like talk about actually. So there was fibs in short, or Fibonacci, and then supporting resistance and trend lines. So those are the two topics that you guys had to choose from: fibs, or trend lines, and support resistance. So a bulk of you guys chose trend lines and support resistance. So that's what we're looking at today. So before we even go too far into the video, uh, like I said, you guys should check out the time and the date. So Tuesday, December 31st, 23:41. So while most of you guys are like going out doing all your stuff, I'm here making this video for you guys. So the least you can do is actually just subscribe. Doesn't take much of your time. Subscribe, like the video, and share it to as many people as possible, because in the end it's just free knowledge. So yeah. Anyways, my favorite pair is gold. So it's XAUUSD. So that's my favorite pair to trade, XAUUSD, right? I feel like it also respects technicals more than the other pairs, but that's a personal preference. It's totally up to you, to be honest. But I just feel like gold is better for me than all the other pairs. So we'll be looking at gold today for all the analysis that we're going to be doing: the trend line, support and resistance, and anything else I'm going to add onto the video. So without more said, let's get into the video. So I'm going to start with the most simple thing, which is support and resistance, right? So support and resistance is basically, it comes from a concept of having like two lines in the market, right? This is just the basic term, support and resistance, like basic concept. So it comes from a concept of having at least two lines in the market, right? Let's just say a channel, right? So horizontal line number one and horizontal line number two. So we have this channel here in the market, right? So the whole concept of it is for price to actually enter this channel, right, and respect this channel. Like, we'll just keep on bouncing off this channel, go up, bounce off the top, come back down, bounce off the bottom, go back up, bounce at the top, and continue doing the same movement from the time it enters the channel to the time it eventually loses momentum and falls out of the channel or breaks through the top. So think of it like a ceiling and a roof, right? Just look at yourself in a corridor, right? And this is you standing at the beginning of the corridor, right? So if you throw a tennis ball at the roof hard enough, what's going to happen? It's going to bounce off the roof, come back to the floor, bounce off the floor, go back to the ceiling, and keep on going and going and going, depending on how hard you actually throw the tennis ball, right? So it's basically the same concept. But no matter how hard you throw the tennis ball, at some point it's going to lose momentum, and what's going to happen? It's going to break out of this channel, right? So when price finally breaks out of this channel, right, what's most likely going to happen? We're expecting a big move to either side. So if it breaks out through the bottom, right, we're expecting price to really tank hard. But then once price breaks out, right, there's two ways we can trade support and resistance. You can either trade the break or the bounce. So when price finally breaks, right, price usually comes to retest, broken support, and then usually comes down and continues the trend that it actually wanted to actually go with in the end, right? So how we trade the break, right? We wait for price to break out of support, right? Come down, go back to retest broken support, and then that's when you enter our cells. So that's trading the break of support or resistance, right? So in case you guys are wondering what support and resistance, support is a line that is below current price, right? So price was currently around this area before it actually broke through this line, right? So support is the line that's below current price. So this makes this line support. Then resistance is the line that's above current price. So this becomes resistance, right? So that's what I mean when I say we broke support or retesting newfound resistance, because now this line is above current price since we broke below it. I hope you guys are understanding. So price breaks support, comes back to retest newfound resistance, and then the downward trend continues, right? So that's how you trade the break of support and resistance, right? So the second way is how to trade the bounce, which is very easy, honestly speaking. If you can identify a smooth channel in the market, right? What you'll be looking for is to just buy off these points, buy off the touches. This point here, this point here, that point there, that point there, and so on, right? And selling from these points, right? Because trading and making profits on the market, right, is basically analyzing past data, like what the market has presented to you in the past. So basic analyzing that and getting a verdict of what could happen in the future, right? So if you notice that price has been coming to this point and bouncing up, came to this point again, bounced up, came to this point, bounced up, then it's just obvious that you have to buy at this point, right? Because that's what's been happening in the past. So all the time when you're trading, right, just look left. Looking left will always help you with making a decision of what's going to happen on the right side, because there's three parts of the chart, right? There's the left, which is past data, then there's the middle, which is current data, like what's currently happening, right? And then the right side, which is future, right? So we need to look left to determine what's going to happen in the future, right? Same thing as history, right? People study history to make sure that they don't, okay, knowing like where you're coming from, right? But at the same time, you can avoid mistakes in the future by knowing what happened in the past, right? So same thing here, analyzing past data to tell you what's going to happen in the future. So there's two ways to trade this: either trade the bounce or the break, right? So that's the basic concept of supporting resistance, right? So this is just like a practical, theoretical example, right? So of course it will never look this simple on the charts, right? So now let's just start drawing support and resistance lines on our chart, right? So if you're an Access Forex student, right, you guys will be knowing exactly how we do these. We do this a bit differently from most videos on YouTube and stuff. So I'm just trying to give out the basic concept, right, for beginners. If you're already a student, then you already have the full course and it has all the details of how exactly we draw the support and resistance and everything. Here I'm just giving you a basic overview because, like I said, I could be having fun right now, but I'm doing this video for you guys. So yeah, so basically we just look for points where the market failed to break, right? So for me this would be a good point, and I start drawing my support resistance on the weekly time frame. I actually made a mistake by actually drawing on the week, on the daily, you know. So I delete my lines, the lines that I actually just added. Yeah. So what I do is I just zoom out, right? Just get an overview of what's happening, right? And start to draw my support resistance lines. So basically what I'm looking for is points where the market failed to break, like really strong levels. That's basically what we're looking for. So why I'm going to place this line here is because if you look at this in the past, right? During the past year, we had price failing to break this point 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And right now price is currently struggling at this area because price has gone up, it's rejected coming downwards, gone back up there, came back down, and now we're testing this level again. So it's a very strong level. So I would keep that line there. And on the weekly time frame, I don't draw too many support and resistance lines. I just draw two, basically, right? So I just have one support and one resistance, right? And remember to keep it within relevant price. Like, it's pointless for you to draw support and resistance lines that are all the way at the bottom here when price is in this area here. Remember, this is a weekly time frame, so how many weeks will it take for price to actually reach this point? It takes so long, and I don't think any of you guys are willing to wait that long. So keep it within relevant price. So let me just delete this line. Okay, so looking for the second line, right? Right now I have my resistance point, right? So now we're looking for the support point, right? So we're basically looking for a point where the market failed to break numerous times, right? So where am I going to put this line here? Remember, I don't want to put it too far down because if I put it all the way here, it's within, it's like far away, which will take weeks for it to actually get there, to get it. So we're trying to concentrate on relevant price areas, right? Which is along this area here, right? So trying to keep everything close. So why I put this line there is because we had a rejection there, price failed to break here again, failed to break again, and we also had some sort of indecision in this area here. So for me, it's actually a strong level of what? Of support. So if I was to trade a bounce or a break, right? If I'm trading a bounce, right? As you can see, price went up, got pushed back down, right? Tried to go back up, got pushed back down again, right? Now we're going to test the same level again, right? So if I decide to trade the bounce, right? Follow normal stop loss rules, right? If you're looking at this on the weekly time frame, right? Stop loss has to be above the previous high if you're on the sell. So your stop loss will be above this high here. Enter your sell positions. Your target would be next support area, right? This is the next strong level of support. So what's most likely going to happen here? Price is going to bounce up. So you don't want to be holding your sells expecting it to drop like beneath the ocean when this level is pretty strong. So you end up being in a situation where you're holding your sell. It gets to this point, you're still holding, bounces back up, and you lose all the profits you could potentially made. So yeah. So after doing this, right, after drawing my 2 points on the weekly, move on to the daily time frame, right? Do the exact same thing. So now I want you guys to notice like the color coding. Like I don't keep all my lines the same color. I make sure all my lines are different. That way I can tell the difference between weekly support, daily support, and so on, right? If I'm actually going to draw for hour support. But I don't like drawing for hour support because it makes your chart a bit clustered and you end up not seeing clearly, especially if you're using other technical tools as well, like your fibs, your trend lines, all sorts of other things. If you're using all those things, you won't end up seeing anything. So I just like to keep it with weekly and daily support and resistance, right? So looking for the same thing basically, right? So looking for points for the market failed to break, right? So why am I going to put this point here? I'm putting this point because here the market rejected, went back up, right? Same thing, we almost touched it, just a near touch, right? Went back up, came back down, rejected, it went back up, right? Same thing, we came back down, rejected, went back up. Same thing came, we broke support because price would be in this area here, right? So we finally break support. What happened? Retest, sell, right? Came back up, bounce, sell, right? Bounce, sell. This is a daily time frame. Like these look like small moves, right? But these are actually very big moves. Because if we lower the time frame to like the 4 hour time frame, that's when you guys can actually see how big these modes really are. Especially for those guys that like trading 15-minute time frames and stuff. This is like a long time. This is probably like 2 days holding a trade from the time when you got your retest. So this was your break, price came back up, retest, you sell at this point. That's like 2 days holding your trade. So this is a lot of profit, especially if you're trading gold, because gold has like higher lot values and stuff. You can make more money with smaller lot sizes on gold. So yeah. So we just keep on doing that basically. We're just looking for points in the market where price is failing to break, right? When you use those strong levels to tell you what's going to happen next, basically. Because you know that when price is approaching one of these strong levels, right, something's going to happen. It's either going to bounce or break. Now it's just up to the way you react. Also, just have patience, right? Especially when price is approaching one of these levels, right? If you're thinking, okay, my strategy tells me that it's probably going to go up, right? Wait for it to touch this point, just to avoid being faked out, right? Wait for it to touch this point. Wait for a reversal pattern to form, right? I'm going to make a separate video on reversal patterns. Like I'm going to make a playlist for beginners, like total beginners, so you'll find reversal patterns in the beginners playlist, right? But I'm going to do that gradually because I just don't want to like throw too much videos at once, right? So yeah. So as you can see here, we came, we touched, came back, and here we formed a what? A hammer. And then price started going back up. So make profits just from simple things. Just wait for confirmation that price is gonna go up, and then you enter your buy. Right? Same thing when you get your break, retest. Wait for confirmation, like a reversal pattern of some sort. As you can see here, right? If you guys know your reversal patterns, right? Um, price came back there, right? We touched, and you know what happened? This is an engulfing candle. It totally engulfed these two green candles and that one as well. It engulfed. That's your perfect perfect time to sell. Enter your cells right there and then just wait. Of course, you'd have had all this stuff happening here in the past, right? But then, if you've got faith in your analysis, then you shouldn't even be panicking. Hold your trade, gives you your profits, all good, right? So I think that's it for support and resistance, right? Because like I said, if you're an Access Forex student, you would know definitely far much more than this, for sure, because there's more detailed stuff about support and resistance in our course. So yeah, if you guys want to find out about that, if you're not a student or anything, right, and you want to enroll, uh, there's a link to my Instagram in the description of this video, so you can just check that out, DM me, and then talk through how you guys can get enrolled and everything, and then yeah. So what I'm going to move on to next is trend lines, right? So this is one thing I've noticed about gold, right? Gold has like perfect trend lines, like they're just they're good, they're very very good. All you have to do is spot them. If you can spot them, then you can ride a trend for a very long time, right? So, anyways, just to go to the theoretical explanations of this whole thing for the sake of the guys that don't know anything, right? Trend lines are basically the same thing as support and resistance, just a diagonal version, right? Because people hate it like shooting firecrackers. What's the term now? Off. So yeah. Anyways, it's the same thing as support and resistance, right? Just the diagonal version, right? So what you're expecting to see is something like this, right? You'll have your trend line there, right? And then price is following and respecting this trend line, right? So we're in a downtrend and we keep on respecting, right? So same thing as support and resistance. If you like tilt it, like if you just tilt your screen a bit, right, you'll notice that we have the same channel formation that we had when we were looking at what? support and resistance. Basically the same thing. Just tilt the screen a bit and you'll see the exact same thing, right? So the same rules apply, right? You might not always get a channel, right? You just get like a top line there, and then maybe the bottom will be a bit squank. So you might not always get a channel, right? But still, same thing applies, right? If you see price rejecting off like a certain diagonal level, right, then definitely consider it, even though there's no bottom channel, right? It's still a very important level to consider. So same rules apply to trading these, right? It's trading the bounce and trading the break, right? So this is your definition of trading the bounce. Every time price gets to this point, you've seen it going down in the past. It's happened once, yeah, it's happened twice. This was most likely going to happen on the third time. Probably going to do the same thing. So you enter your cells, make a profit. Comes back there, touches again, enter your cells, make a profit, right? So now, when it comes to trading the break of a trend line, right? Same rules apply still, right? What happens is price will break out of this, it'll break out of the line that it's been respecting, right? Come back, retest, and then continue with the new trend, right? So that's like basics on trend lines, right? There's more advanced, like I keep saying, there's more advanced stuff in the course, right? But yeah, you can find that anywhere, to be honest. Like, I'm not trying to promote my course or anything. So yeah, as long as you guys have a good mentor and they're teaching you the right thing, right? Man, it's all good. As long as he knows his stuff, it's all good, because we just want everyone to learn and profitable in the end, right? So what I was saying is, now okay, we're now moving on to a practical example, right? Like on the charts, right? So what I meant by gold has like these perfect trend lines, right? Is basically this, right? If you like zoom out, right, on your gold chart, you'll notice that these points, like I remember a few months back, we're following this one here. The dog is even barking now. We're following this one here, right? And also, one thing you guys should keep in mind is that there's so many different ways to draw trend lines. Like there's no, like most of the time there's not really a person that's wrong, because check this. This trend line is okay, right? It's cool. Head out. First touch, second touch, third touch we went up a bit, then we broke, retest, came down, right? Same thing applies for someone that would have done this, right? He's drawn it this way. So he's drawn it this way, right? So now if you zoom in, lower the time frame as well. You notice that he had his first touch, second touch, third touch, price went up a bit, finally break, and lower the time frames even more, right? You notice that there's a retest here as well in this area here, right? Let me just show you guys. Just finding these points, but you have to keep scrolling backwards and backwards and backwards. Because I don't want to like tell you guys, no, you'll see this, and I don't show you guys. You think I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, there you go. Break, retest, start coming down, right? So when you don't see like a perfect retest, right? Lower the time frames, not too much, not to the 1 minute time frame or the 5 minutes. The lowest I go is the 15-minute time frame. That's the lowest time frame I actually move down to. But best time frames to actually look for more details is like the 30 minutes and the 1 hour time frame. I feel like those are the best for me, and they could work for you as well, right? So that's basis on trend lines as well, right? So you can try the bounce or the break, right? And then something else also notice here, right? In the daily time frame. I was actually going through this with one of my students recently, right? And I'll actually show you some analysis I have on AUD USD as well. Same thing, trendline concepts and everything, right? So we also have this trendline, right? From the top here. Check this. Another tip that you guys should have, right, when it comes to doing a trend lines. I've seen people do it funny trend lines, like things like this. Weights like body to body, right? Like a lot of people have that question. Do I draw my trend lines body to body, like body of the candle, or wick to wick, right? So how I've been doing my things is my first two touches of the trend line have to be perfect. So when I mean perfect, they have to be wick to wick, right? As you can see, right by the touch of the wick there. Second one touches the wick as well. Third one, fourth one can be whatever, right? But then it still holds. Like this is a perfect example of what I mean, but it still holds, right? Because well, first touch there, second touch, third touch, and then this funny stuff started happening, right? A lot of people would have started buying. Honestly, I don't even see a retest, yeah. People would have started buying, thinking, oh no, it broke out of the trend line, and then start buying, then it goes up, and it ends up coming down in the end. And then you guys were just induced to buy when it's really not a buy. So price comes back, retests inwards, starts coming down, right? Comes back again, comes down, right? And then what happens in the end? We finally lose momentum, we break out of the descending trend line. Then what do we get? Retest and a buy, right? But then if you were someone that was drawing your trend lines differently, yeah, like like this, like body to body, you'd have totally missed this end because you'd have something like this. So can you see body, body, touch, 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 right? Then what happens? Sell, price goes up, comes down, doesn't even touch the trend line, shoots back up. So if you're like a very cautious person, you're waiting for it to touch exactly the trend line, then you buy. And then what happens? You don't actually get the buy in the end. So you end up missing out. But if it's week to week, we end up getting the exact touches and everything. So now, just to show you guys what my chart actually looks like, because right now I just showed you guys support resistance and trend line on its own, right? This is what my charts actually look like when I finished analyzing and done everything, right? So like I was saying, I was going to show you guys a AUD USD setup that I had. This is what my charts usually look like. So that's why I said I don't like to add too many lines, right? I've got weekly levels of support and resistance and daily levels of support and resistance. I also have fibs, I have trend lines as well, I have supply and demand zones. It's just a lot of stuff. So if you have too many lines, you won't see anything in the end, right? So let me just zoom out so you guys can see exactly what I was seeing, right? So I started drawing from the very, very top, right? So I got my first touch there, second touch, third touch, then we started to lose momentum towards the end, right? Then what happened? It'll break, retest, start shooting up, right? But I actually didn't enter the trade then because I actually didn't notice it. So what actually made me enter this trade, right, is okay, if you're an Access Forex student, right, you know that we use Confluence. And Confluence is basically putting together a lot of different strategies to tell us one thing. So this is you putting support and resistance, trend lines, fibs, market structure, supply and demand, even harmonic patterns as well. putting all that stuff together to tell you one thing, right? So here, there's numerous reasons why I actually entered at this point here, right? So I entered at this point because this is a weekly level for me, right? The red ones are the weeklies, and then the blue ones are my daily levels of support and resistance. So this is a weekly level, right? Price broke, came back to retest weekly support. So what are the rules if price breaks weekly no, weekly resistance, right? Because it was resistance before, broke, came back to retest newfound support, then we buy, right? That's number one. Number two, overall we're in a downtrend, right? And we finally broke that. It came to retest here. We broke the trend line, came to retest. It shot up and it engulfed like all this stuff in one day. It engulfed like 5 days, like 5 days of movement in one day. So that's like a very big sign of bullish behavior in the markets, right? So like I said, you also don't have to rush. Wait for confirmations, right? Because a lot of people end up entering trades, entering buys here because they're like, oh, it's going up, it's going up. They enter buys. They're happy for a day. Then what happens? Boom, you end up going below entry points. And then what happens? You're negative, you start panicking, you close the trade, right? So we're avoiding that overall, yeah? So you wait for confirmation. So basically, the confirmations that we're talking about, right? Uh, Something like this here. So let's just zoom in so you guys can see the confirmations we're talking about. You can check this. It came from the doji. And then what happens? We covered more than 50% of the previous bearish candle, right? So for me, this is already enough confirmation that we're buying. Basically, it's just enough confirmation that we're buying, right? Plus, we have this ascending trend line where we checked it once, twice, third time is the golden touch. We went up. It actually went beyond my target because for me, just to be safe, I always target the what? The previous high, which is this point here, right? So targeted this point, hit my target, kept on shooting up, right? So that's my next goal. I'm waiting for price to come back down, retest. Why am I expecting to retest here instead of there? Remember what I said, look left all the time to give you ideas of what's going to happen next in the market, right? So you can already see that this level here is a very strong level. Like check this, rejection there, rejection there, rejection there, rejection there as well. Like, bruh, it's a very, very strong level. Yeah. So I expect price to come down, retest, and go up. I was going to show you like additional confirmations of why I would want to enter here, but a basic confirmation about actually, according to, with something to do with the topic we're actually talking about today, is the trend line, right? If you extend this trend line a bit further, yeah, if it comes down, most probably going to touch, intersect with this newfound support, and then what's going to happen? Bounce up, simple. So that for me, that's like easy stuff. And then if you add fibs, which I'm going to talk about next time, um, you'll have even more confirmations. So yeah, that's basically it for your fibs. I mean, for your trend lines, support and resistance. So yeah, remember, feel free to DM me about any topics that you guys want to speak about, right? That you want me to speak about. If you feel like you need help on fibs, DM me, tell me, hey, Emmanuel, I need help on fibs, and I'll be sure to help you out. I'll be sure to consider making the video. I'll just make out a vote. People vote if they want this topic or this topic, right? I'll just compare the most requested topics and then make a video on that, right? And at the same time, I'll be making a beginner's playlist at the same time, right? So that guys that are totally new to French, right, will be able to understand without actually like needing to go far. Because when I started learning, right, it was so hard. I went through so much YouTube content and it was still so hard. So I'm trying to make like a beginner's playlist where I try and simplify everything to the extent where you just need that playlist if you're beginning. So yeah, like I said, if you want to give me topic suggestions, right, feel free to DM me. My link to my Instagram is in the description of the video. So just follow, um, send me a DM on the topic that you want me to talk about, and then we'll make a vote on my Instagram. Whatever people choose, that's the video I'm gonna make. That's the topic I'm gonna make a video on. So yeah. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you can be notified when next I post a video. So yeah.